from the divided states of America, it's the Bob and Bob Show.
You talk about politics all the time. People are interested in Instagram and Facebook, and no one cares about politics, Bob.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired. I had one beer.
That guy that continues to try to divide us as people.
It's kind of beneath, I think, as a leader of a country to go that route. It's not what leaders do.
Welcome to the Bob and Bob Show. I'm your host, Bob.
I'm Bob.
And that guy over there, that's Bob, too. We'd like to welcome you to our 14th episode, I believe.
I haven't kept count. We've got a bunch, man.
Right. Well, you can join us. We have a social media platform. It's complaintboxes.com. Go there, create a profile, get on the activity stream. It's similar to Facebook, I guess.
It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. Complaint boxes, the idea, complain, but we try to find solutions to things, So we see a lot of posts and a lot of bull crap on Facebook, and this is kind of a platform where you dig through it and try to find solutions.
Sure. It's just another social media platform, but it's kind of based around the idea of liberty, not data mining, not saving information, all that stuff.
All that funny stuff.
There's no Zuck censorship kind of thing going on. I mean, we have the power to do that as admins of the website, but I mean, it's not what we're doing,
But anyway, yeah, complaintboxes.com. Go there, create a profile. And then also the Bob and Bob Show has its own separate page there, and you can go check that out. We have some video from YouTube. We have some different platforms that we're getting on. We're now on Spotify, finally. So you can check us out there. You can listen to all of our shows there. And you can listen to them through Podbean, which is on our page too, the Bob and Bob page. So...
And the Discord app.
And the Discord app, yeah, we'll be doing that later after the show, and that's where some of you guys can call in, or I guess it's not really calling in, though. It's more on the internet level. So.
You can join in, literally.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can join. We can get a big conversation going, so go there after the show. Normally we're in there, what's the time on that? 2 to 3 or 1 to 2?
I don't even know.
It's 1 to 2.
When we get to it.
Yeah, when we get to us. You can go in there and hang out. Our admin over here, Chris Burgess, he's handling our video, and he's handling... the Discord app. So, when you get in there, if you're having problems, you can message him and he'll help you out.
He kind of does everything during the show except for talking to the mic, although he can talk into the mic if he wants to.
No. Anyway, so let's get into the show there, Big Bob, Big yeah. Professor Bob.
Professor.
My first thing I want to talk about is these yellow vests.
Yeah.
And they're over in... Where are they at? France.
Yeah, well, they're branching out too. Other nations are inspired, kind of like Arab Spring. There's always some of that. Every time there's a popular movement, it does spread out to some degree. But yeah, it's France.
Well, let's get into what they're actually. I guess the start of the protest was more about they're getting pissed over gasoline prices and some economic stuff that was going on.
Dude, they were already getting taxed through the teeth, man. Like obscene taxation. Even the poorest people in France. We're talking the equivalency of someone that makes like $12,000 a year in the U.S. They were paying 16% income tax.
Wow, so we have a citizenry getting pissed off over taxes and trying to do something about it, is what you're saying.
That's part of the story. Their wealthiest, their highest tax bracket is close to 50%. So it runs the gamut. It's a lot higher than taxes in the United States. And yeah, they had enough of that. Yeah.
Well... over here, nobody's doing shit about anything.
We pay too many taxes here, too.
A lot of taxes. And, I find it kind of strange that when I started putting the numbers together here, I guess they're paying $1.64 per liter. Actually, not dollars. Yeah.
Euros?
Yeah. So, in the end, once you boil it all down, they're paying $4.27 per gallon.
Yeah, the conversion is to that.
Yeah.
On average, yeah.
Yeah, on average. Obviously, it goes up and down. So... That's pretty high.
Yeah.
I remember back when the World Trade Centers went down.
Yeah.
Gas prices started going up. They were almost breaching $4.
I remember when it was getting crazy, dude.
Yeah, and people were lining up at gas stations. There was fights breaking out and stuff. Yeah. So I'm trying to think about it. Now over there, they got the yellow vests, which are protest thing. They're rioting. The cops are
Oh yeah, it's riots. Yeah.
using less than lethal weaponry on them
Yep.
and stuff. So, and that's at $4.25 a gallon. And then all of a sudden over here in the U.S., gas prices drop.
Yeah, we're under $2 a gallon for the first time in a long time.
Long time. I even seen it. Yeah, under $2 a gallon.
I mean, we're talking
some
locally
places.
here where we're at, of course, but the United States is absolutely massive. I mean, France is essentially like one state of the union.
Yeah,
you know, if
I
you want
find
to break it down, but
I think the fingers pointed at, if you ask me, is they dropped the gas prices over here, so no yellow vests arise out of the population.
it could be part of it.
So I mean, it's pretty brutal over there. There's a lot of they're talking about economic growth, and the government is talking like because of these protests and quote unquote riots, economic factors are happening where they're losing tons of money, millions and millions of dollars, and it's hurting their economy, is what the government is stating on their media.
Yeah, well, the yellow vest people are asking for a lot of things from their government too, though. I mean, the high taxation comes with that. I think they had just reached a tipping point as far as what they were willing to pay, but they're still demanding more from their government. And their government's not like ours, where they're dumping trillions of dollars into a military-industrial complex. You know, like that's and foreign aid in billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid every year. I mean, that's what we're paying for. They're paying for stuff for themselves, but they just don't seem to understand how liberty works. And
they're supposed to be our ally, government-wise. So, I mean,
the French,
yeah,
they're NATO and all that, but
think about the historical aspect of it too. Like, when the French got over here during the Revolutionary War.
Oh, the French
They
are part of the reason that we exist.
Right.
I mean,
they helped us get this together over here.
Yeah. I hear people all the time talking about, oh, France, bunch of pussies. We won World War II for them. First of all, World War II is a lot more complicated than that. That's another show. But, people can talk about that all they want. But the reason the United States exists is because France helped us.
Right. Helped us with our freedom, fight for our freedom, period.
So,
the correlation between the two of our countries, what are the elites thinking over here? Like, 'cause you don't really see too much on the mainstream friggin' whore media, you know what I mean, about these yellow vests. So why is that? I don't know. I mean, it's an important subject.
It's obvious
I think
why.
they're in Belgium, and they're sprouting up in other countries now.
Yeah. Mainstream media in the United States, as far as the big networks, is not free press.
No, it's
We know
scripted.
that.
It's commentary. It's like it's mostly commentary, like what we're doing.
Yeah.
But we're saying that
It's propaganda.
Yeah, well, we're commentary, and we have our own opinions and all that.
We're propaganda too.
But we're not a media source.
No, well, we are. We're just not.
We're just talking about what media is talking about. Different sides of the media, the independent media.
I'm just being nitpicky.
Yes, you are. You SOB.
We are a media source, but we're not a media source. No, we're not. We're not a news channel.
Right.
But this is media. One thing I do want to mention is in the United States, we've had energy crises in the United States, like in the 70s. But this is what killed the muscle car. Basically, was the gas embargoes of the early 70s. With OPEC and all that, and gas lines, inflation at 13% on the dollar. Like, it was bad, man. And a lot of these millennials may or may not even know about that when they whine about how hard they think their lives are. When, they've had a crappy economy, but you know what? You're not the only ones. Everybody just generalizes too much, says this generation had it so easy. No generation has had it easy, quote unquote. It's hard for everybody, just like it's hard for individuals. Generations have different challenges, and the idea is just to meet that and be a survivor, not just blame earlier generations for shitting on you, because everybody shits on everybody and everybody fights to survive.
Yeah, chiseling off each other.
Dude, the millennials have never seen 13% inflation or an energy crisis. The baby boomers did, okay? I mean...
Well, I don't want to... I'm getting tired of classifying, people, liberals, Republicans, millennials, baby boomers. Everybody... Yeah, you can classify them as a whole, but in reality, not all these millennials are as retarded as we think they are.
Oh, I know that.
And same as the baby boomers, same as everybody has a different aspect on everything.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just talking about groupthink trends that I see.
Yeah. No, I got you. I just want to make that statement.
Absolutely.
So getting into like maybe a more modern day situation, we have, the day of everybody being offended about everything, and it's getting to be ridiculous. And here's what I'm
The
finding.
fake outrage is ridiculous because it keeps us from looking at things that actually do matter.
Yeah, here's what I'm finding out is not as many people are as offended as the media portrays it to
Not
be.
even close. It's mob mentality.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're just handpicking a few loudmouths that are having problems with everything, and they're glorifying it and letting it be.
Giving them a voice.
Right. And now all of a sudden, we got to ban, Baby It's Cold Outside because in the era of the Me Too
Nobody
movement.
really cares that much about that.
Well, dude, there's a backlash. Hold on, let me tell you. I found that Fox 8 News out here in Cleveland was one of them that banned it, and that was the first reporting that I saw on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was all about, but they pushed back on the radio station, which was, I think it was in Texas. I forget what the radio station was, but they had a pushback from viewers and listeners or whatever, and said that they want it back on, and they put it back on
Because it's meaningless hype, dude.
It is.
And people are seeing this was like. It's like this was silly enough for people to be like, wait a minute, this is stupid.
Yeah,
You know,
I think this agenda is going this New World Order so-called agenda or whatever you want to call it. I think it's like overstepped its boundaries.
Well, it's always a push-pull.
Well,
always.
it's kind of
always.
like snapping some people out of it. Like this is getting ridiculous. Like from
even a process of manipulation and subversion. It's still an organic process. The idea is to guide agendas and guide populations, because it's kind of like, it's like herding animals too. You can herd them so hard that you kill them, and herd them so hard that they run away the first chance they get, or you can herd them in a way that they don't even know it's happening. That's the idea.
Yeah, slowly, incrementally, over time,
gently. Yeah. It's a soft movement, ideally, unless you push a little too hard and the beehive decides that it sees what's happening and it's done, and then they start putting on yellow jackets and yelling at Parliament.
They want the idea of this Baby It's Cold Outside banning of it. I wonder if that station plays a lot of rap music and provocative dance music and stuff that's out now. Nobody's trying to ban that crap.
Or pretty much any other song.
There's tons of songs out there that are just piss vulgar. A lot of them are not on the radio, but you can get them anywhere, online.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a big thing.
That song was never meant to be offensive. It's not really offensive. I guess if you want something to be offensive, it is in your own little world, I suppose. But it's taken so far out of context.
It doesn't matter if it's offensive. Shut the hell up. It's America. Grow a pair of balls or whatever. Oh no.
Remember Two Live Crew?
Oh jeez.
Dude.
Yeah, they were out of control. They were great. It was awesome though.
It's gross, but it's just.
But just stop being so offended. Are you really offended, or are you just being programmed to be offended? You know what I mean? I think that's what's happening. And all of a sudden, I get pissed off about all kinds of shit people say.
It's the useful idiot complex, man. They see something to vice signal about. I'm not even going to call it virtue signaling anymore. They see something to vice signal about, and to make them feel good, that make their ego feel good, so they run with it, even though it's silly and it's stupid and pointless, and it's just something to make themselves feel good and righteous. But it's a dumb cause.
Well, it's spreading across the nation. There's tons of stuff happening that's getting banned and getting restricted and stuff like that. And I want to get into some of. I
see that whole trend maybe slowly starting to slip off. It's starting to go away.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but you probably do because you're Bob. But
I don't know.
And a lot of people do. The tearing down of all these Confederate monuments.
Oh, yeah, of course I remember that.
And, there's a big debate about that and how racist and everything is. Like,
it's
the
stupid.
Confederate, it's still stupid. It's history. Deal with it,
Yeah,
we don't want a monument of Stalin sitting around.
I don't even care if there is, dude, because it's not an idol. I'm not worshiping it.
Right. I don't care.
It's just a tribute.
I don't want to see it, but I don't care.
I'm okay with seeing it, though. It's a tribute to history. Do I want to live under Stalin's rule? No. Does a statue of Stalin offend me? No. I mean, it's that simple, man. It's not. If somebody wants to worship it, go ahead. If you try to make me a Stalinist, we have a problem. I don't care about the statue.
This borderline psychopathic person, Nancy Pelosi, she was the kind of the cornerstone of making things get heard like this to take down some of these statues.
Yeah.
And obviously she's a House Democratic leader. She wanted to get down the Civil War controversial Confederate friggin' statues because it's offensive and blah, blah, blah.
She wants to take, racism, quote unquote, to the next level, basically.
So let's see here. Austin, Texas. They removed statues of 2 Confederate generals, Robert E. Lee and Albert Sidney Johnston. So that's in Texas. Baltimore, they removed, they're just saying it's something. I don't know. Brooklyn, they removed Robert E. Lee. North Carolina, they removed a few things. Boston, they removed a few things. Now, I just read something about Gandhi being removed.
Yeah, I saw something about that too. What was that about? He said something that's considered offensive today.
Yeah, statue of world famous Indian independence
I don't even
activist.
care that much that they're taking him down, to be honest.
Well, they're erasing history.
I think the mob, the reasoning of the mob is obscene. I really do. I don't care personally so much. I mean, I don't have a personal investment in it so much, but I would just leave it be.
This just goes back to this crybaby ass attitude, like, oh, it offends me. And what if they had, what if they wanted to put one of their Black Panther leaders up there?
It's meaningless.
I don't care.
Right.
I don't care that you're racist.
It's just symbolism.
They're down in Africa saying kill whitey everywhere,
There's real problems.
Yeah. What's the point? What's the point? What is the final agenda by erasing history like this? Stopping cursive in freaking school.
Point? What is really the point?
Yeah. What's the end game? Why is it
Useful
happening?
idiots feeding their egos. That's what it is.
Well, feed your ego all you want. Get in front of this microphone, come in here and talk to somebody, and you're probably a little pussy, and you won't be able to say anything.
Hey, we were talking about them yellow jackets though, in France.
Yellow jackets.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling yellow jackets,
okay.
man. We were talking about that. Obviously, we always
jump around.
Do what we do.
We do the House of Pain, jump around.
There is a whole lot of things they're asking for that are, to me, I got to find it here real quick, but to me it's just them basically begging the government to have more control over them. That's what I don't understand.
I thought that they were like trying to get gas prices lower, get their economic standpoint.
You know what? They
want
that. They wanted that gas tax to go away. It's like 2% off of like a 40% gas tax that they started riding over supposedly. But then their list of actual demands is crazy. They're asking for more government, man. It's insane. Let me find it real quick.
Well, how are they asking for more government? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm going to find it for you here.
Because I'm looking at this about the Bank of France that lowered the country's economic growth and had from 1.6% to 1.5%. Big freaking deal. It's the IMF that's controlling a lot of this over there, just like the Federal Reserve is controlling things over here.
Oh yeah. Planned economies.
Yeah, these are financiers, like I always talk about, that control nations. Them with corporations, so it's a corporatocracy. You know what I mean?
If you look at your withholdings on your paycheck, federal income is like probably 50% of your entire withholdings. Like all of the other taxes you would have to pay, like county, city, state, Social Security, Medicare, whatever it may be, all that stuff put together, and then FICA.
Right.
FICA's like half of that. It's obscene how much we get taxed.
But we're not gonna go yellow jacket on anybody, though.
No, of course not.
The last time the United States actually started to get a grasp of the bullshit that's going on was Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, and then 9/11 happened.
Well,
how convenient
9/11
was that?
happened after Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, I know.
9/11 happened before Occupy Wall Street.
Oh no, I'm talking about the ones on the West Coast. It was 1999, man. It was getting real big. It was like
Occupy Wall Street?
The NWO Occupy movement, like calling the bankers out, and then all of a sudden, the World Trade Center goes down, the center of finance in the Western world. Like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Well,
actually, London is.
I attended some of the Occupy Wall Street movements, and the one in Cleveland, and I was talking with people, and they were more worried about Wall Street. I don't think they were understanding that Wall Street is just a game being played. It's really the Federal Reserve and other influences within our economy. It's Who cares about the damn Wall Street? Who really cares? Do you? Absolutely
No,
not.
I don't.
And it really doesn't have any friggin' effect on us to begin with. So, yeah, it'll fluctuate markets and people will go ape shit and lose money or whatever. But in the end, the Fed can just continually print it, which, actually it's digitizing now, obviously. But,
Yeah.
So that's where the controlling agent is.
Well, let me tell you here. This is what some of the Yellow Jackets here, they have signs up like Macron, feed your people, and that's basically asking the government to take care of them. Which, here's the way I see it: it's like a kid getting money from their parents, and then they don't like their parents' opinion or decision on what they do with that. Well, when you are getting it, when they're your benefactor, they get to have an opinion. That's the same thing when you give the government control over your life. They get to have control. They get to have the opinion. You gave it to them. They're your benefactor. If you don't want the government in your life, then don't give them power over your life. Don't ask them to take care of you. Take care of yourself.
The government isn't there to take care of you.
But it depends on the government, right? I guess
it depends on the system that's in place.
This is what they want. They want to get rid of homelessness, a more progressive tax system, whatever that means, an increase in minimum wage, free parking in the city center, higher taxes on big companies, a minimum pension of 1,200 euros a month, which is a little under $1,400. That's asking for more socialist reach.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And if you, like you said, something about feed the people or whatever, feed more people or something, like what does the government have to do with that? The government is supposed to be there to keep some checks and balances.
It's Europe.
Well, yeah, all Europe.
Dude, think about Europe. Since Rome entered Europe, it's been a nanny culture. It's been serfs living under feudal lords. You know what I mean? Like, Europe doesn't know. Nobody in Europe knows what liberty is. They've never, for 1,000 generations have never had it. They're not even interested in it. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's because royalty flows all through that area.
Well, it went from royalty to royalty, of course. You know, and it's that way here too. But us being Americans, we don't even understand the European mindset so much. It's so far removed from the way our mindset is. And I guess it's noble to see the hive get together and take on the establishment, but they're not demanding freedom.
They are now. It seems like they're starting to. I think this whole socialist movement, it's starting to get global. And these people don't read history books? These people don't look at some of the things that happened because of socialism?
Dude, there should be people involved in all of this that have a living memory of histories of tyrannical, regimes in Europe. But they're Europeans, man. That's what they do.
They've been in it the whole time anyway, in some form.
It's been one feudal, overlord situation after another for, 1,500 years, man.
Well, over here, I just, our media makes things look like there's something that they're not.
What do you mean?
Like, they put these things out there with the everybody being offended all the time,
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll be on the 24-hour news cycle. And then all of a sudden everybody's bitching and moaning about it. So the media is actually pulling strings on you.
Always.
Because, we're sitting here talking about it right now, but the only reason we are is because we're trying to expose what the media is doing.
Well, they could cover something like, a White House staffer being found dead of what obviously is a hit, not a suicide, ruled as a suicide because he gave WikiLeaks information that exposed the Clinton, the Clintons rigged the election, the DNC against Sanders. They're not reporting on that. No, they're talking about the president eating 2 slices of cake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they do. It's stupid. They keep you spinning. And here's what happens is, some of the population, they turn it off because this crap has just turned into a circus.
They're not even turning anything off.
Well, some are, and some are like, I don't want to hear it, and they're not trying to pay attention to anything
They were
anymore.
never turned on.
What do you mean they were never turned on?
They don't see. Their eye was never opened, man. They don't see subversion and distraction because they don't notice it, man.
Well, what I'm saying is they do still watch the news. They watch.
Yeah.
And when they get into the political side of it, people, that's when they turn off.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've just tired of hearing the circus.
Or they just don't understand it. And
Or they don't
care.
understand. They don't care. And they don't want it. They're not interested.
Not interested.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the giant problem.
It's the problem if they ever care to have any real say in their situation. They need to know what's going on. But some people just don't care. I don't know. I mean, nobody has to care. That's their prerogative. But
if you don't care, then you can't be part of any kind of solution. And if you're not,
right,
it's going to take a
They're
mass.
not part of it.
Yeah, it takes a mass awakening to get anything done.
Yeah, on that bell curve, there's always going to be a bunch of people that don't care.
Yeah, they're always there. But the more entertainment you flood everybody with, and the more crap that comes out of your mainstream horror media, then the more people are just going to become zombified and not care.
Yeah.
And they just keep it coming. And then, the crazy part about it is they'll make all kinds of different movies and TV shows, and they will all be
pacification through vicarious living. Is that where you're going?
No, I'm going. They'll show like CIA operatives going through all this stuff and doing all these things and glorifying this kind of corruption and stuff within government, and you know and like they're getting everybody ready for the truth almost. You
know what I think is crazy? Not crazy, but I just think I'm entertained by it. I am amused by, 5 years ago, I was talking about Chip Tatum and codename Pegasus, and the Iran Contra situation being also involved with running cocaine. Bill Clinton and H.W. Bush running cocaine and on Black Hawk helicopters in packages marked medical, coolers marked medical into Little Rock, Arkansas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing all this drug running where the CIA is making a ton of money running drugs. And then there's, what was that Tom Cruise movie? I forgot that guy's name already. I would be telling people about that, and they tell me I'm insane, and governments don't do stuff like that, and this and that. And I'm like, first of all, you apparently don't know anything about history. That's weird. And
that's weird.
And then, 5 years later, they're putting on Facebook about how awesome that new movie is about the CIA drug runners, and it's like, dude, you were calling me a tinfoil freak 3 years ago for talking about this, and now Hollywood makes a movie about it, calls it based on a true story, and you haven't connected the dots.
Right.
I mean,
oh man, that's an entertainment head for you. Somebody who has like 900 movies.
Bread and circuses, man.
They're like, woohoo, yeah, but they don't believe anything. They can't make any decisions for themselves to believe in anything that looks tangible,
right?
As a realistic.
There's always going to be weird theories that don't make any sense, and some of them are going to be total crap, and some of them are going to blow your mind when you realize they're real, and some of them aren't that much of a stretch, but people refuse to believe that humans could be so malevolent or deceptive or whatever it may be, in spite of so much empirical evidence and all, every other kind of evidence and pragmatic historical fact that goes with it. It's insane.
Well, there's that kind of fact, and then there's the actual, you freaking witnessed it. You saw it for yourself. You saw the corruption. Maybe it was on a small level of maybe on your city council or something, or maybe it was within your homeowner's insurance company.
People see the design of corruption.
Yeah,
but they don't think it could happen on a grand scale.
Yeah, that's how you look. That's where you look. You look on your own life first.
Yeah.
And then once you see the corruption with what you have to deal with, then you move on. You say, well, if it's happening to me on this small of a scale, then it's got to be happening on a larger scale.
That's how the universe works. It's fractal patterns.
Yep.
Now we're getting all trippy, but
trippy fractals.
It is. I mean, everything that happens on the smallest of scales is identical on a massive scale and every scale in between. And if people can wrap their head around that concept, then they're going to wake up a little bit. You're a little wiser today if that's an epiphany to you.
Yeah,
I mean,
like if you look at your car insurance, for instance, you pay that shit every damn month, and then let's just say you get a fender bender. Guess what? You got to pay a deductible. And
then they raise your insurance.
And then they raise your insurance.
Yeah.
So that right there, if that happens to you, if you notice that is a form of corruption there.
It started as a voluntary safety net and now has turned into a mandated middleman tribute that is not much different than a mafia shakedown.
Right. If you don't have it, you can lose your license.
What we see now is a need in the market being filled with a free market, and then, this many decades later, it's gotten completely out of control because nobody has put a governor on it,
Right.
and it turns into tyranny. So,
Tyranny!
that's our halfway point,
Yes,
folks.
sir. Thank you for listening to Bob and Bob Show. We'll be right back after this little tune we're going to play, and we'll get right back into it.
That sounds like Ween.
You know I gotta get away, gotta find my way back home, and try to remember my way every day, but my past is dead and gone. So oh Lord, can you please leave me alone, unless you're gonna give me a shoulder to lean on. Why can't I be the guy whose life is never wrong, instead of the guy who tries and winds up writing my sad songs, who longs to get a chance to right my wrongs, who belongs with a family, a job, and a home. Gotta find my way to the place I used to know. But there's nowhere else to go. Gotta find my way, 'cause I've been placed under the gun. Gotta get away, and there's nowhere left to run.
It always seems like they got me on the run. Let me take you back to reminisce about day one. 18, crispy and clean, and fresh up on the scene. Nothing but motivation in the pursuit of my dream. But I end up in the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong rhyme. But so I'm the type of cat to take what's mine. They say LP, you need to think first, but what's worse? 5 to 10 or 6 cats taking you down to the hearse. I'd rather be dropping a verse on the track. But so these cats be acting so whack. They wanna take me back to the joint with Joe. What's up with that? I know I got bad luck and I never won a case. But God look down upon me, feel the sadness in my face. I pay my dues. I always wanna win and never lose. Got this in one hand, that in the other. Which one will I choose? I'm confused. That's why I find myself on the run. I guess that's the price you pay just to try to have some fun.
Gotta find my way to the place I used to know. Gotta get away.
What's up? We are back.
Yo.
You are listening to the Bob and Bob Show, and we are bringing reality back to reality. Bringing a false reality back to reality.
Which reality is false and which one isn't?
I don't know. Well, you know what one is a real reality is property taxes.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
if you own your home and you don't pay your property taxes, you don't pay the crime boss, you lose your home.
Yeah.
They will come and take your home. You don't pay your federal income taxes on your business, they will come and take your business.
I understand the idea of property taxes and why they exist and taxation in the first place exists, but the whole idea was with representation, i.e., I agree to pay in to this for this.
Yeah, I agree. No, I don't agree.
It's supposed to be an exchange, like you're supposed to get something for your taxes.
Well, what they'll do is they'll have a vote on a levy, or they'll have a vote on a couple different things, and they'll say, well, the majority of you said that you would like to have these kind of taxes.
Sure.
But really, you didn't. It was all a big friggin' joke.
Well, they don't give you a choice on whether or not you're going to have taxes. That's the problem.
No, you never get a choice, even though you think you do. It's
Right.
all an illusion.
I mean, you don't really get a choice of what they do with the money, the policy they make, or any of that. You have the freedom to protest it. That may or may not lead to anything.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
I want to hear after when we get into Discord or whatever, and if anybody joins or what, I want to hear some things in your life that is corrupt and tyrannical in your personal life. Not the crap you see on TV. We're talking about insurances as an example.
Sure.
There's other things like, what pisses me off. This is my complaint box thing. You go to the grocery store, you get a bell pepper, green bell pepper.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen a red bell pepper?
A GBP?
Yeah.
An RBP?
Look at the price difference between those two.
Well, one sits on the vine longer.
Oh, wow. So we got to up the price because it sits on the vine
I've
longer.
never even paid any attention to that at
Yeah,
all.
I do. It pisses me off because I like red bell peppers.
Yeah? How much more are you paying, man?
It's like $1.
Is it?
It's something crazy. I forget what it is, but it's not cool. I can get like 2 or 3
Have you checked
Green
it?
bell peppers.
The green ones suck though.
I
man.
like you don't like them sauteed up real nice.
It
you know.
depends. They have their place, I guess.
Well, either way, that's just something I had to mention. That's kind of stupid.
But why is that though? Is it because they're on the vine longer? Have you looked into it?
it is. Well, I don't know. I know that I grow them, and if it
Yeah.
stays on the vine longer, it turns red or yellow or
Usually.
multicolor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Why are they going to charge more for it? A
'Cause
head of
you'll pay
lettuce.
more for
I
it.
bought a head of lettuce the other day.
There's only one reason why.
$2 for a head of lettuce.
You know why? You know why the red one costs more? You really want to know why?
Yeah, I want to know.
At the very
Give it to me, Professor Bob.
The most raw, broken down form of why the red bell pepper costs more than the green one.
Why?
Because you'll pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I heard two old ladies griping about it, and that's what got me off
You
on
still
it.
pay
I didn't
for
even
it?
notice till I heard these two old ladies yelling about it. You know, and
That's funny. Yeah, that is a very old lady problem. It is.
it's an actual, but you know, in this world, in this country, you got to watch stuff because you never know.
You know what? You check this out. First of all, I want to put a disclaimer out because I'm not saying that this should be illegal or anything, because it shouldn't be. You just need to educate yourself as a consumer. Everybody, like the dollar store, Dollar General.
Yeah.
You can get Triscuits there. You can get Irish Spring there. All the same crap you can get at like Mark's or whatever, or at the grocery store, and it's quote unquote cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
No. It's
Have you
not.
compared them?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not the prices. The prices are different. So is the weight and quantity of the product.
Oh, so they
They're-
lower the quantity
Yeah.
and lower the price.
They're packaging
I gotcha.
the stuff differently. Like the bar of soap, the bar of Irish Spring at Dollar General, the box is the same size as the bar from Target or whatever. It's probably like maybe an ounce and a half lighter. It's 25 cents cheaper.
Well, this is the free market system,
Right.
And this is, you know, I've talked about this many a times about moving your money. That's why I don't go to Walmart.
Well,
but you know, people,
you just need to understand you're not really paying less. You're buying a smaller bag.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people now that
And
you
I-
just said that understand.
Yeah, I don't think that should be illegal or anything. I just think people need to pay attention. You know what you're doing. Educate yourself.
Well, nobody does that, and if they did,
That's why
they
they-
would find out. They would find out
If they
that
did, they would go to wherever's closer to their house instead of the one where they think they're getting a better deal.
if a product is bad, if a product like the cereal controversy with Monsanto being involved or whatever was going on with that, Monsanto spraying their Roundup Ready crap or Roundup.
Oh, it's on everything, man.
Right. So there's been things found in different cereals and all kinds of different foods that cause cancer because of this stuff.
Sure.
Okay? But people still buy it. If
Yeah.
you want these companies to stop,
Move your money.
Move your money.
Vote with your dollars.
Vote with your dollar.
Every dollar you spend is a vote. Every decision you make is a vote. Voting, schmoting. You don't need a ballot box to vote. You just need to make a decision.
Right. If the company is corrupt, known for corruption, sells a product that causes cancer and God knows what else because they really don't care and they put freaking plastic in chicken nuggets or whatever it was,
They've
or a
known
jelly
these dangers
resin.
forever, and this is what happens when you put, a board member from Monsanto as the head of the FDA. I mean, this is the corruption that I gripe about, on Facebook and stuff. It's the same. This is what it is. It's totally incestuous. Corporations and government working together to control entire industries, control populations. And it's not even about money. It's about power. Money, they have all the money.
Well,
It's about power.
Well, if you take the population as a whole, and you keep it from being able to think properly,
Yeah.
and
Distract them.
you distract them,
Give
and,
them false information.
and then give them a bunch of entertainment and a bunch of friggin' crazy foods,
Stupid narratives.
and so now the people who really the population really has the power in the end, if they apply it, which they keep you freaking spinning so that you can't apply it.
And somebody might be like, they're not just trying to kill everybody. Well, maybe they are, but that's neither here nor there because they are. They are. It is
right.
toxic. Whether or not they know it, they do know it's toxic, by the way. They knew it was toxic when they were defoliating in Vietnam, but it's just, they do know it's toxic, first of all. They don't care.
You'll
Are
buy.
they trying to kill you? Not necessarily. Do they care if you die? No.
No, they want that profit, and that's all they care about.
The easiest way to process these grains is with toxic chemicals that will give you cancer. And hey, they get a cancer patient out of you too, And do they care if you die? No. There's 5 more of you lined up right behind you.
Well, there's things that you can do. Simple, they're not stupid, but little things. Instead of going and buying that green pepper, that red bell pepper, or whatever,
you have to go
at Walmart.
Yeah.
Go to the your local farmer or your local food stand, farmer stand, or whatever, and buy it from them.
Ask them questions too.
Yeah. Ask them if they spray their crops with stuff, and they'll tell you. They don't.
They might lie, but
right. But you have a better chance of at least you're taking that money, you're putting it back into the community.
At least it's going into the community and not to Monsanto.
Yeah, it's not going to Monsanto. It's not going to Walmart. It's not going to these big giant freaking corporations who have literally taken over practically, and all the stuff that they sell is junk half the time.
Sure,
it's made in another country where it's slave labor going on, and they're getting pennies a day.
It's a throwaway society, man.
So, do something. That's what you have to
you grow
do.
It yourself
something.
Too. You grow it yourself, and you know everything about it.
Yeah, well, that's just one side of it.
Sure,
we know Walmart is involved with a lot of slave labor style.
We do have a choice. We do have a choice. It's more work. You just have to take the steps for independence if you want it. And as an informed consumer, whether or not you're going to eat Roundup in your cereal or whatever. Nobody's at home making their own Cheerios, but I'm sure there's got to be some Cheerios out there that aren't, that are responsibly made. They probably cost a lot. I don't know.
Well, you don't see what's happening is they're going to throw this guy in the presidency, Trump, that guy, quote unquote, from LeBron James.
Right. And everybody else.
And everybody's flipping out over Trump all the time. Trump this, Trump that. Or it's
That's
like, we love
there.
Trump. He's doing great for the economy.
That's why he's there.
He's there to make you spin in circles and freaking run into a wall. That's what it's all about.
Right.
He's not very bright. We know that. We can tell by just the way he speaks he's not bright. And the things and policies that he's doing are causing controversy all across the political spectrum.
He's bright enough to know how to do what he does and do it very well.
So, and then we have, the whole Trumpism style movement that's happening from all of his followers and stuff. And, I don't analyze him that much anymore. I heard him say some things about the Fed. Really wasn't anything freaking I gave a crap about, and he's not doing anything about it, so I don't really freaking care.
Yeah.
And me and you have talked about this, I don't know how many times, about how these presidents are just, they're not there to do anything for you, man. They're there to just keep your head spinning.
They may do something for you, but that's not really the point. They're there as they're a monkey in a suit. It's an empty suit. They have an agenda that they have to follow, and they can try to stray from that and may come to some conclusion or success with it, but the establishment's very powerful, man. If you push too hard,
No, you got to stop spending your time looking into Trump all the time, or what Obama did. It's not important anymore, because what's happening is it's going to happen whether you like it or not, and he's going to do whatever he's being told to do, and sitting here griping about that bullshit isn't going to get us any closer to any kind of freedom.
Well, I think what you're trying to say, it's okay to have a problem with what he's doing, if it's a problem, but what it is don't have a problem with it just because it's Trump.
Oh, yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Because they all do the same stuff.
Or, if he's doing something stupid, don't be like, well, it's fine because I support Trump.
You can pull up
on
videos,
the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, you can pull up videos of Obama and Schumer right now and Bill Clinton saying all the same stuff that Trump says, and Ronald Reagan and saying the same stuff that Trump says. But people get a triggered emotional reaction. It's totally irrational based on who's saying it. And they'll applaud it when the other guy says it. It's just proof that you're retarded. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, pay attention.
There's a lot of things going on that are outside of that the president doesn't have control of. That's the stuff that we should be looking at.
The agenda doesn't change. That's my point.
Right. Look at the things that are really important. That president is going to he's going to do what he's told. You don't have a voice. Let me tell you this right now. You don't have a voice unless you turn into a yellow jacket or a yellow vest or Bob's yellow jacket.
Well, millions of us in a group have a voice. One guy doesn't.
Right. Well, you can get on here and do a freaking podcast like we do, and really, we're not. I mean, what's going to happen?
We don't have any power over anything.
We have no power. There's nothing we can really.
I don't want power.
We are going to try, though. you know.
I want power over one thing, my own independence. That's it.
Definitely.
That's it, man.
I don't want intrusion in my life anymore.
I don't want to intrude on anybody either. That's what it is, man. It's all about mind your business and I'll mind mine. That's all it is.
Well, but you have an AR-15. Or you have
That's why I have it,
well,
man.
I didn't say you actually have one, but, you know, they want to, somebody has an AR-15, all of a sudden you're a freaking homegrown terrorist or something. You know, it's ridiculous. Terror, you know, George Bush. I mean, get out of here, man. Everybody is getting real sick and tired of hearing people screaming about guns, screaming about freaking
appeasement laws I scream about.
Yeah, well, it's getting old. It's really getting old.
Yeah.
And it's time to grow up and understand what your freedom means and why it's here and what you have to do to keep it.
And independence is maturity.
Well, you think that, you know, during the Revolutionary War, those were some young bucks out there fighting. I guess they were just for the cause.
There's another thing you got to take into consideration for that, though, is the times and the life of those times.
True.
Like,
yes.
I mean, you take your typical 13-year-old kid of 1760 or, you know, 1780 of that time.
Yeah.
Is not anywhere near the same kid you're going to get today if you just pluck a 13-year-old kid out of middle America.
Right. They grew up seeing redcoats running around.
Oh, they were the time the emotional maturity and grit that they would have to just to be a survivor back then compared to now. I mean, it's not even an apples and oranges, man. A 13-year-old then was more like a 25-year-old now. I would say that is probably not too far from accurate if anybody has an actual study on it.
Well, we have to make sure that, you know, we got to get them to pay attention first off. And I don't know how that's going to work out because, I mean, some of these friggin' sports head guys, man, I mean, yeah, some of them really know what they're talking about when it comes to maybe a political aspect.
I'm not even worried about that.
But there's a lot of people that are engulfed into high-end sports now.
Sure.
And it seems like it gets bigger and bigger all the time.
I don't know.
And I mean, I guess I'm
why I don't care
I'm using
about
a
that?
reference from my activity stream. You'll see a game going on, and you'll never hear anybody or you'll never see anybody post anything until a game's on, and then they're gonna like name the player and be like, you know, that refs this and blah blah.
Oh, I
That's
see
you
it all the time. I just don't participate because I don't even know what they're talking about.
Right. Well, they don't even know what we're talking about. And
Some of them do.
Well, some of them do, and some of us
They're just enjoying
know
their hobby,
sports too. So
you know why I don't care about them though?
why?
The ones that don't get into the politics and stuff or care about their freedom because they don't care, so I don't.
You don't care about freedom?
I don't care about their freedom.
Oh, so when shit breaks out and you don't care, you're not gonna save one of these
I care
guys.
about mine.
You're not gonna save one of these guys who.
When they care, I'll care. I'm not gonna care about their freedom more than they do. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
If they start caring, I'll start caring too. Otherwise, I don't.
Right. I get you.
I'm not giving it the energy it doesn't deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I do care about? Somebody that is politically active and has totally the wrong idea. They might have the best intentions in the world, but they're going down a bad path because they don't know history or they don't know enough about how power structures work, whatever it may be. Those are the ones I care about.
The ones
they're
that
dangerous.
They actually feel like government is supposed to give them something. Those democratic socialists or those communist style tactics.
You know what? I'm okay if government gives you something as long as it's something that isn't a tyranny to somebody else.
Well, I wonder how, you know, I don't know the figures on how much money goes in and out, you know, for some of these programs like, you know, the HUD housing and stuff like that. I know it gets down on the state level and
when it's pennies on the dollar per citizen, no, I don't care. Will I contribute my $1.50 to that homeless, to that you know, charity case family's new, you know, home that just got built? Yeah. If I won't even notice that $1.50 is missing. Here you go. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you do that on a monthly basis, it starts to add up over the years.
Do I want to pay 45% income tax for the government to basically provide me with all kinds of services and everybody else with all the same services, whether I need them or not? Hell no.
No, I don't want.
That's way too much.
I don't want to provide them that kind
I don't need your help with the services, and I don't need you to take my money for it. I
don't want that high percentage to, you know, how much of it actually goes towards these programs. A lot of it goes towards militarizing
I know.
police and
That's why
and our military.
We're not represented, man. That's
yeah.
my beef.
So
about
you know,
it.
I want the vets and everything to get care and all that, but I don't want to see high-end military-grade weaponry and vehicles and
I don't
stuff
wanna
like that
see-
on my streets or be like in stock, ready to go whenever it needs to go. You know
Well,
what I
that
mean?
and I don't want to. I don't want to send $1 billion to some other nation to prop them up when, you know, I'm paying what I am out of my taxes, and that is not a concern to me at all. Not to where I'm going to take that much of my paycheck away for it. It's involuntary.
So much money of our own money gets funneled right out of the country, right into the hands of freaking
Israel.
terrorists,
Yeah,
of,
and that
of
two proxy
dictators.
wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like come on, why do people even
Well,
allow it?
that's on the dark market. That's in the intelligence world. I'm talking about the obvious shit that they put in the budget and tell you about, like
Yeah.
Israel.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just
They've given money to all kinds of countries, and I sometimes
every year.
like let's fund this side so that the other side wins, you know, or so this side wins instead of the other side. Or
Sure.
let's, you know, they fund
That's
actually
the Black Ops
they,
stuff.
they fund both sides of the war in
Sure.
the end, just because they got to get their agenda through. So
It gets that money moving, dude.
Yeah, as soon as a war is profit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem. That's a huge problem. War shouldn't be profit.
Anything can be profit. We've just chosen war. You know what else war is?
A fiasco.
It's a cull. It's culling the herd, man.
Well, it makes people go to war and they don't even know what they're fighting for half the time anymore. It's just, I'm defending my country. I'm defending myself. I'm defending myself.
I'm offending myself.
I'm offending myself.
Yeah, a lot of soldiers through time have had no idea what they're fighting for. If they did, they wouldn't do it.
And then they get back home and they're like, oh, shit.
That's why, dude, there's a reason why the military recruits high school kids. They don't fucking know anything.
Right. They don't want the older guys in
You
there.
can't, you don't see no 40-year-old guy lining up like, I'm part of this.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
man.
a 40-year-old, 50-year-old guy, I mean, how are they going to function in combat?
Well, I'm just talking about their mind and their life experience.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, that's why, man. And there are a lot of middle-aged dudes in that stuff, but they're guys that they're part of it, you know, the brass and whatnot. It's what they do, man.
They're in the rear with the gear.
A lot of them believe their mission, and sometimes those things that we're told are partially true, but there's always other sides to it. There's always other motives and agendas going on, and dude.
Well, somebody needs to like flick a switch, because I always talk about there's this switch somewhere that snaps humanity back to reality again.
Oh yeah,
Gets us out of the matrix, and some form of something. It has to be some kind of event, I guess. And I don't know.
A metaphysical event.
Yeah. Well, once your power shuts off, everybody goes ape shit.
Yeah.
You know. And my son had a hamster, and had.
I saw that stuff outside. I'm like, did they just get a new pet?
He actually had 2 hamsters. Or I think he had 3 at one time, and apparently one ate the other or something, or
What?
killed the other, and left its carcass. And then they had this little tube. They went up to the top, and at the top they brought their bedding up there and everything. And the one got stuck in the tube, and the other one was in the compartment. The other one chewed through the one to get through the tube.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was stinking, and my son never even looked.
Dude,
I'm
you
like,
had psycho hamster. You know, yeah, because he's their god, and what a vengeful god he is.
Well,
he didn't feed his hamsters,
a
man.
few days later, the last one that survived died too.
Jeez.
So, but I tried to. This is how I explained it to him. He's like, I don't know what I did. I'm like, first off, you didn't feed them, probably.
Yeah.
Second, you didn't clean their cage, so they're living in their feces and whatever.
He enslaved the
Right.
hamsters.
Third, you didn't pay attention to make sure that they were okay. So what happened? He's like, I can't. He wanted to get rid of the last hamster that survived in the end. Ended up dying anyway, but. He put him outside. He's like, I'm gonna leave him out in the cold. And he's gonna die. He killed these other 2. He's a bad hamster. I'm like, listen, it was desperation.
Yeah, it's like you're a bad hamster owner, dude.
Right. I'm like, if you took humanity and you took the food away, or
Yeah.
you took the power away, what would we do? You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a bunch of movies and a nice
You don't
entertainment.
even have to say what would we do. What have we done?
Literally.
This has happened over and over and over and over again.
That
through the
kind of
human
desperation makes people eat people.
story. Right. Absolutely.
Literally. Or first you'll eat your dog and your cat because you can't find any deer or anything else out there.
Yeah.
You might start eating freaking frogs and everything else, and then you're going to start eating people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not everybody.
You
but
know, in the Irish potato famine, I forget who it was, but some guy published a letter, and He was literally suggesting cannibalism. He was like, "Eat your weakest children."
Well, I'm not sure how the hamsters. I think
doesn't seem fair. Nobody's really gonna do that. I mean,
I think they might eat each other's babies or something. There's something weird about
a lot
hamsters.
of animals do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Nature
what it
doesn't
was.
care, dude. Good and bad don't exist in nature. Things just are what they
Well,
are.
that's the kind of switch, which I don't want that kind of switch where we turn into cannibals to happen, but that aspect of desperation. So I think that maybe
an event horizon.
Yeah, maybe the global elite and whoever, the big Big Ten, whatever you want to call them, they're just not ready for us to start eating each other yet.
I mean, I think it just happens as needed.
If you
World War is us eating each other, dude.
Well,
that happened not that long ago.
I mean, keep raising the taxes, keep raising the interest rates, keep raising the gas prices. I mean, eventually there's going to be some threshold that just tips.
Sure, like in France right now.
Yeah, like in France right now.
Yeah.
And if it's not only just France, though, from what I'm seeing, it's starting to spread.
Sure.
And right now, okay, you're surviving. Yes, you have a decent home or you're renting a decent home. Yes, you have a big screen. Yes, you have nice clothes. Yes, you go to work every day. Your kids look good. Everything's fine. But really, it's not. You're living in an illusion.
Yeah, you're drugged up because you can't handle your lifestyle because you're living against the way a human being is designed to live, and it's driving you insane. So you're taking pills so that you can be insane in a way that you can cope with.
Right. Your anxiety's kicking in. Your depression's kicking in.
I hate
and
it,
you're taking these pills. You become a zombie. You're not angry. You're not sad. You're not happy. That's what's happening.
Sure.
I mean, I wonder how these kids, holy crap, man, like, because of, the kids, teenagers, emotional problems. We all know that. We've been through it. Whether it's the girlfriend-boyfriend breakup or whatever the hell's going on.
We have us as our generation as the parents of a lot of these teenagers, and we're too stupid and lazy to do anything right either.
So what do the parents do?
We just take them to the retard doctor and give them their retard pills.
My kid won't come out of his room. My kid's freaking always walking around. He's wearing black clothes and putting an eyeliner on. So take him to the doctor. Instead of talking to him, all you got to do is talk to him.
Right.
And sometimes it's going to be hard because their freaking hormones are going nuts. Their brains are developing more. They're learning more things. Don't throw them on pills. You're making a nation of zombies.
They just have to know that life is hard. It always is and always has been, and it always will be.
Yeah. Well, now we have these.
It's all about frame of reference. Yeah. Everything can be as abundant as ever, and life will still be hard, dude, because that's how frame of reference works. And you can either cope with it or not. You can cope with it this way or that way. All of these things come with consequences. Every decision comes with some sort of a consequence. If you want to fry your brains with SSRIs, that's pretty easy to do.
Well, that's another move your money situation there, because these are actually, I mean, you can see what they're doing. You can see that. Do you know people on SSRIs?
Oh, yeah, I've been on them, man.
I know what I've been through personally, my personal experience, and I know what happens when you don't have them, and if you don't wean yourself off. And I know about
We've talked about this on here,
your emotions are gone,
Yep.
What kind of society do we have now because of it? It's
a society of mindless consumerism, and that is the point as far as the people who have the influence and power to control which direction society goes want it that way.
Yeah, they want you freaking brain dead. They want you manipulated.
Yeah, well, because we're retarded and we'll just buy anything they shove in our face. That's ideal. Are you kidding me? Docile cattle are the best, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't even have to cut our horns off. We're too retarded to use them.
Right.
It's just...
sometimes I just wonder, like, when's it going to change? When's it going to change? What's going to happen? I mean, every day it's just a continuous battle.
Well, everything is changing every day. And maybe we can have a little bit of influence on which way it goes.
I mean, we can try. That's what we're doing here.
We're
trying.
After my grandpa died, I had some files of stuff that he had, just like random things that he saved or whatever. And he had this sheet of paper in there that he got from somebody that he was in the Navy with like 80 years ago. And it was just this little story. I'm just going to try to go off my mind, this little story. And you've probably heard it before. It's one of them little fables from back in the day. It's about a guy that, I think it was starfish. He was walking down the beach and there's a whole bunch of live starfish like beached on the beach. And this guy's walking down the beach, throwing them back in the water. And another guy walks up and he's like, what's the point, man? There's thousands of them here. There's no way you can throw them all in. He picks up another one and throws it back into the water, and he says, the guy was like, you can't make a difference. There's a million of them. He throws another one in the water and says, I made a difference for that one.
Yeah, nice closing, Bob.
So
we're at the end. Thanks for joining the Bob and Bob Show. Catch us on Discord.
See you next time.
It's the Bob and Bob Show.